10 houses, all of them in Georgia. Every single one under $75,000. And this list is not what you expect. We have got an Atlanta address, an actual Atlanta zip code, listed at $69,000. We have got a South Georgia city where the tenant is already in the house, already paying rent, and the owner is still selling. We have got a military market where the Air Force Base alone employs 24,500 people, and the house is priced $30,000 to $60,000 below everything else around it. And we have got a 5-bedroom house built in 2001, the newest construction on this entire list, at $75,000. And then the bonus at the end. Macon, Georgia, corner lot, rocking chair front porch, 1921 bungalow, $27,000. I will give you the full honest breakdown on that one at the end. Not just the charm, the math, the risk, and the straight answer on whether $27,000 in Macon is a deal worth taking seriously. One thing before we start. Several properties on this list had conflicting data between listing sources, prices that did not match, statuses that contradicted. I will flag each one specifically as we hit it. Verify every listing directly with the agent before you spend any money or any time. The market moves faster than any video can keep up with. 10 houses, 1 Atlanta surprise, 1 bonus you will not see coming. Let's go. House 9, 406 Walnut Street, Columbus, Georgia, $75,000, Columbus, Muskogee County. Fort Morris here, one of the largest Army installations in the country. TSYS and Global Payments anchor a real fintech presence. Aflac is headquartered here. Columbus State University, Piedmont Columbus Regional, St. Francis Emory Healthcare. This is a city with legitimate institutional depth across military, finance, healthcare, and education. 406 Walnut Street, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 725 square feet. Built 1943, listed at $75,000. About $103 per square foot. That price per square foot is the highest on this list, and it tells you something important. Zillow's similar listings for this exact property show house after house in the same configuration. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 700 to 800 square feet, all clustered at $70,000 to $75,000. The market has set a ceiling on these small Columbus houses, and that ceiling is exactly what you are being asked to pay. What that means practically, this is a rental-only play. There is no flip upside above the purchase price in this submarket. Your return comes entirely from rent, and for a renovated 2-bedroom in this part of Columbus, you are probably looking at $850 to $1,000 a month. The rehab scope is small. 725 square feet does not hide a large budget, but you need to know your numbers going in, because there is no margin for an expensive surprise. Columbus is a city worth being in. This house, at this price, is a disciplined rental hold and nothing more. House 8, 140 Mount Zion Road, Southeast Atlanta, Georgia, $69,000. Atlanta. I know what you are thinking, and you are right to be skeptical. An Atlanta address under $75,000 in 2026 does not happen without a reason. Here is the reason. $730 a month. That is the HOA fee per month. On a $69,000 house, 140 Mount Zion Road, Southeast, Unit 41, Glen Rose Heights neighborhood, near Hartsfield-Jackson. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 800 square feet, built 1972. Described as beautifully updated, likely to sell fast. The Atlanta airport context is real. Hartsfield-Jackson generates more than $66 billion in annual economic impact and supports more than 63,000 on-site jobs. Airport employees, Delta workers, logistics and concession and security and airline support staff all need somewhere to live, and many of them cannot afford a $200,000 house. That demand base is legitimate. but $730 a month in HOA fees is $8,760 a year before your mortgage, before taxes, before insurance. Comparable units in the same complex have sold between $30,000 and $72,000. That spread tells you this community has significant price variance, which raises its own questions about the HOA's financial health. Before anything else, you need 3 answers. First, does the HOA allow rentals? Some communities at this price point restrict or ban them entirely. Second, what are the HOA financials? Reserve fund, delinquency rate, any pending special assessments or litigation? Third, will a lender finance it? The HOA to purchase price ratio here may make conventional financing impossible, which means cash only. The Atlanta location is real. The HOA is the trap. Answer all 3 questions before this conversation goes any further. House 7, 418 West Street, Valdosta, Georgia, $33,000 to $39,900. Price flag first. Zillow shows $33,000. Realtor.com showed $39,900. Get the current asking price directly from the listing agent before you analyze anything else. 418 West Street, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 1,171 square feet, built 1953, just over an 8,000 square foot lot. Valdosta has Moody Air Force Base employing 8,000 people, South Georgia Medical Center with 2,700 employees, Valdosta State University with 2,400 faculty and staff, and a Lowe's distribution center adding nearly 1,000 more jobs. This is not a town without economic reason to exist, which makes $28 per square foot at the Zillow number a question that needs an answer. At that price, in that market, something is pushing buyers away from this specific house. A comparable house at 502 West Street, same street, very similar size, is listed at $38,000. The gap between those two numbers is not explained by general market conditions. It is explained by something specific to this property. Roof, foundation, floor structure, electrical, plumbing, and any code enforcement file on this address at the city. Those are the things that answer the question. If the structure is sound and the title is clean, this could be one of the most interesting entry points on the list in a city with genuine institutional employment. If the structure has a real problem, you just saved yourself $33,000 by doing the inspection first. The question is worth asking. Just make sure you get the answer before you buy. 6 houses in, and we're about to move into the part of this list where the stories get more interesting. A 5-bedroom house built in the 21st century, a Macon property over 100 years old in a city with some of the deepest employer roots in central Georgia, and then a college town that most people outside Georgia have never thought about as a real estate market. Stay with me. House 6, 152 Seaweed Road, Fitzgerald, Georgia, $75,000. Listing status flag. Zillow showed this property is not for sale at time of research. Realtor.com showed it active at $75,000. Verified directly with the listing agent before anything else. If it is active, here's what you are looking at. 152 Seaweed Road, Fitzgerald, Georgia, Ben Hill County. 5 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,880 square feet, built 2001. Last sold in November 2024 for $55,000. Current ask is $75,000. 2001. Every other property on this list was built before 1960. This is the only one built in the 21st century, and that changes the inspection conversation in a meaningful way. A 2001 house does not have knob and tube wiring. It does not have original cast iron drain lines from the middle of the last century. The mechanical systems are a generation newer than anything else on this list. 5 bedrooms is also unusual at this price point. A 5-bedroom house attracts a different tenant profile, larger families, multi-generational households, and has a different resale conversation than a 2-1 or 3-1. Whether that tenant profile exists in Fitzgerald in numbers that support stable occupancy is the question you have to answer before you commit. Fitzgerald is a small town with rail access and industrial recruitment activity, but the tenant pool is thinner than a military or university city, and thin tenant pools mean longer vacancy between tenants and less pricing power on rent. The $20,000 markup from the November 2024 sale price is also worth noting. Get the current condition documented before you accept any assumptions about what changed between those two transactions. 5 bedrooms and a 2001 build at $75,000 is genuinely unusual. Verify the listing status, verify the condition, and verify the local rental demand before you get excited about the bedroom count. House 5, 1153 Hendley Street, Macon, Georgia, $75,000. Macon, Bibb County. Geico's Macon operation is the company's largest insurance processing center in the country. Atrium Health Navicent is a major regional healthcare system connected to Mercer University School of Medicine. Mercer University, Middle Georgia State University, the Bibb County School District. Real, stable, institutional employment across multiple sectors, creating sustained rental demand. 1153 Hendley Street. 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 1,471 square feet, built around 1900. Asking price, $75,000, about $51 per square foot. 1,471 square feet with 3 actual bedrooms in a city with this employer base is the kind of spec that earns a serious look. The square footage gives you rooms that a real tenant or a real buyer can use, not closets with beds pushed against the walls. The age is where the discipline comes in. A house built around 1900 in central Georgia has had 126 years to accumulate issues. Foundation piers, crawl space moisture, floor slope, wiring that predates modern codes, cast iron or galvanized plumbing, roof structure, and termite history. All of it gets a thorough look before you make any move. Not a casual walkthrough. A real inspection with someone who knows old construction. Macon is also block sensitive. The median county income number does not tell you what the street outside this specific house looks like. You need micro-level comps within half a mile, and you need to physically drive the block before the inspection tells you whether the numbers work. If the block holds up and the inspection findings are manageable, 1,400 square feet in this market at $51 per square foot is a legitimate opportunity. The inspection is the only thing that separates legitimate opportunity from expensive lesson. House 4, 120 Carricker Avenue, Milledgeville, Georgia, $69,000. Milledgeville, Baldwin County. And this one has a combination of demand drivers that most small Georgia towns simply do not have. 120 Carricker Avenue, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. 1,344 square feet. Built 1947, just over a quarter acre. Asking price, $69,000. About $51 per square foot. Georgia College and State University is here. Georgia Military College. Central Georgia Technical College. Atrium Health Navicent Baldwin. 4 institutional anchors in a city small enough that being near one means you are near all of them. The student and faculty rental demand that comes with a residential college creates a tenant pool that holds through economic cycles in ways that private sector-only markets do not. Milledgeville was Georgia's state capital during the Civil War. That history is not just a footnote. It means the city has a downtown with real architectural character, tourism draw, and a regional identity that supports short-term rental demand alongside the college market. And Lake Sinclair is nearby, which adds a recreational draw that spills into the local housing market. The comp picture is wide. Nearby listings range from $55,000 to $137,000 and beyond. That spread tells you the market rewards renovation here. A clean, updated 3-bedroom in a college town with a historic downtown has a higher ceiling than a comparable house in a purely industrial small town. 1947 construction means the standard checklist: roof, HVAC, electrical panel, plumbing, floor structure, crawl space. Nothing unusual, but nothing to skip. At $69,000 with 1,300 square feet in this specific market, The demand story is more complete than almost anything else on this list. 3 properties left on the main countdown. A South Georgia city where the rent is already being collected. A military market where one detail in the listing needs to be resolved before anything else. And the biggest house on the list, nearly 2,000 square feet, in a city that is becoming one of the most quietly interesting real estate stories in the Southeast. Then the bonus. Stay with me. House 3519 North Lee Street, Valdosta, Georgia. $69,900. Valdosta again. And this is a completely different conversation than West Street. 519 North Lee Street. 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 1,176 square feet, 7,400 square foot lot. Asking price, $69,900. There is currently a tenant in this house paying $800 a month. That is not a projection or a hope. That is a documented number from the listing. Someone is living in this property right now, writing a check every month, and the owner is selling. At $69,900 and $800 a month in gross rent, the gross rent ratio is about 1.14% monthly. Before you call that cash flow, subtract taxes, insurance, management if you use it, and maintenance reserves. $800 a month is a starting point, not a finish line. But it is a known number in a city with Moody Air Force Base at 8,000 jobs, South Georgia Medical Center at 2,700, Valdosta State University at 2,400 faculty and staff, and a Lowe's distribution center adding nearly 1,000 more. The property has been on market for 163 days. That number needs an explanation. It could be a condition issue not visible in photos, a title complication, or tenant cooperation challenges around showings. Ask the listing agent directly what has kept this from selling, and get a straight answer before you rationalize the time on market as a seller pricing problem. There is also a possible package deal with a second Valdosta property. If that interests you, the conversation is worth having. If it does not, confirm this can be purchased individually. A tenant already in place, $800 a month already coming in, 3 institutional anchors in the city. The days on market is the one thing that needs explaining before this becomes a clean acquisition. House 2, 908, Crestwood Terrace, Warner Robins, Georgia, $75,000, Warner Robins, Houston County. And the first thing I need to tell you about this property is the thing you need to resolve before anything else. One of the listing sources noted the property was temporarily off market due to a title issue. Call the listing agent before you drive there, before you schedule an inspection, before you spend another minute on the analysis. Ask what the title issue was and whether it has been fully resolved. Ask for documentation. If it has been resolved, the conversation continues. If it has not, the property is not available to purchase regardless of what any listing platform shows. Assuming the title is clean, here is why Warner Robins deserves serious attention. Robins Air Force Base is the largest single-site industrial complex in Georgia. The base and its contractor ecosystem represent 24,500 jobs in the regional economy. Northrop Grumman is here. KBR Pratt Industries announced a $120 million facility in the area. Defense and cyber contractors tied to Robins have posted roles with compensation reaching nearly $200,000 for senior technical positions. This is a military employment market with real depth and real income. 908 Crestwood Terrace, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 1,178 square feet. Built 1960, just over half an acre. $75,000. Half an acre in a market like this at $75,000 is the detail that makes this property interesting. The nearby active listings tell the story clearly. Comparable properties in Warner Robins are listing at $110,000, $129,000, $144,000, $169,000. The gap between the ask and the market is real, and if the title is clean and the inspection is solid, that gap is where your margin lives. Title first. Everything else is secondary until that answer is confirmed. House 1, 1707 Fenwick Street, Augusta, Georgia. $75,000. Augusta, Richmond County. And this is the property on this list that, to me, has the most compelling combination of square footage, price per square foot, And market context. 1707 Fenwick Street, Old City neighborhood, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 1,977 square feet, built 1916, just over a quarter acre. Asking price, $75,000. $38 per square foot. Nearly 2,000 square feet of 3-bedroom residential space in Augusta for $38 per square foot. That number gets your attention for a reason. Augusta in 2026 is not the same city it was a decade ago. Fort Eisenhower is home to United States Army Cyber Command. The Georgia Cyber Innovation and Training Center represents a $100 million state investment in cybersecurity infrastructure. Augusta has been deliberately positioned as a major cybersecurity hub for the United States military and the defense technology ecosystem that surrounds it. Layer on Augusta University and Wellstar MCG Health, one of the most significant academic medical complexes in the Southeast, and the Masters Tournament tourism economy that fills this city with more money than most Georgia cities see in a month. The median household income in Richmond County is around $55,000. Rental comps for 3-bedroom houses in comparable Augusta neighborhoods are running just under $1,000 to just over $1,000 a month for properties with less square footage than this one offers. 1916, 110 years old. The inspection discipline here is non-negotiable. Knob and tube wiring is a real possibility. Cast iron and galvanized plumbing. Foundation and crawl space that have had a century to develop issues. Roof decking that needs a full evaluation. The nearby comp picture is wide. Sales on Fenwick Street range from $30,000 to $75,000 in distressed condition, but renovated properties in the Old City area have sold at $110,000 and above, and a 3-2 on Crawford sold for $195,000. That spread tells you the market rewards renovation in Augusta, but the block matters as much as the house. Drive Fenwick Street. Drive the surrounding blocks at different times of day. Understand exactly where this specific property sits within the Old City neighborhood before you make any decision. If the block holds and the inspection comes back manageable, nearly 2,000 square feet in Augusta's cyber and military market at $38 per square foot is the strongest raw number on this entire list. I told you at the start there was a bonus. Macon, 1921. Corner lot, rocking chair front porch, $27,000. Here it is. 3108 Hollis Road, Macon, Georgia. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 786 square feet, built 1921. Corner lot with just under 7,000 square feet of land. The listing describes it as a cute bungalow in an up-and-coming section of Macon with a rocking chair front porch. $27,000. I am going to give you the honest version. At $27,000 in a city with Geico and Navicent and Mercer University, the price is not low because the seller forgot what it was worth. The price is low because buyers who looked at it walked away. Your job, before you do anything, is to find out why. Title and lien check before the inspection. Pull the Bibb County tax records. Look for any code enforcement file on this address and confirm the chain of title is clean. Then the physical inspection. Foundation piers, crawl space moisture, floor slope, wiring, plumbing, roof structure, and termite history. In central Georgia, termite damage in a house this age is something you assume until the inspection proves otherwise. Now the other side of the ledger. Nearby active listings on the surrounding blocks show 2-bedroom houses at $45,000, $48,000, $55,000, $65,000. If you buy at $27,000 and your rehab comes in at $30,000 to $45,000, you are all in at $57,000 to $72,000 on a renovated Macon bungalow in a market where comparable renovated properties are listing and selling above that number. Drive Hollis Road at different times of day. Look at what is happening on the surrounding streets. New investment nearby, recent renovations on adjacent properties, or the same deferred condition this house is in. The listing says up and coming. Verify that on the ground before you take anyone's word for it. The corner lot is real. The Macon employer base is real. The rocking chair porch is a detail that rents, and rents well to a certain tenant. $27,000 for any of that in a city this size is a number that deserves a serious look. Title first, inspection second, street audit third, rehab estimate from a contractor who has walked the property fourth. If all four come back clean, this might be the most interesting $27,000 on this entire list. 10 houses, all of them in Georgia, every one of them under $75,000. An Atlanta address hiding a $730 monthly HOA fee. A Valdosta house with a tenant already paying rent. A Warner Robins military market with a title issue that has to be resolved before anything else matters. Nearly 2,000 square feet in Augusta's cyber and military corridor at $38 per square foot. And a $27,000 Macon bungalow with a rocking chair front porch that could be the best entry point on the list or the most expensive lesson you ever learned on a cheap house. The theme is the same every time. The price is low for a reason. Your job is to find out what that reason actually is. Because sometimes the reason is manageable, and sometimes it is not. And the only way to know the difference is the homework you do before you make an offer. Inspection, title check, street audit, rent comps from within half a mile, rehab estimate from a contractor who has walked the property, exit strategy that does not depend on best-case assumptions. In that order. Every time. Drop a comment and tell me which house on this list you would go look at first if you had $20,000 for repairs and a weekend to drive through Georgia. Pick a number, 1 through 10 including the bonus, and make your case. I read every comment. And tell me what you want to see next. More Georgia? A different state? The versus format? Drop it below. Subscribe if you are not already. We are doing a lot more of this.